Alrighty, so this evening we are going over a set I played earlier today against Bungus's HWLen. Admittedly, it's his newest project, so it's one of his less refined characters, so it's not as scary as, say, his H-Comic, for example. But Bungus is still pretty good at the game, and there's definitely some stuff I wanted to iron out that I noticed in my own play after we played this. So let's go ahead and jump in. Alright, so right away we're jumping around, but we immediately run an interaction, but so that's nice. Let's back up some. Let's go back to round start. We got a little too ahead of ourselves. So, something I am still trying to do less of. Jump, double jump, and now we're looking to leverage our air dashes to reposition when I could have simply just used a single jump to leverage air superiority in the beginning of the round. Especially with HWLen, they have up ice, and up ice is pretty good at tagging people above her. They're blockable, but it's pretty quick and it's pretty big. So it's just something you got to be aware of. And burning air options, just the usual. Don't just burn air options because you got them. Big improving at that recently, I feel, but it's always something to keep an eye out. So we're gonna fast forward a little bit from here, and as I said, we air dash back, which means that we are way up, way the hell up at the top of the screen, and we've only got one air option left. Well, we have one air dash left. Admittedly, she has puffball, she has pillar, she has pitch, she has options to stay in the air to adjust her movement, but she only has one true air option left. She's got an air dash left. I'm sure this drink will help me review. Anyways, so there's that up ice that I mentioned. He immediately sees that I've burned most of my air options, and as a positional thing, you can just throw an icicle out there, attacks me. Fortunately, it's not counter hit, it's just a normal hit, so he doesn't really get much from it. Return to neutral. Dash up, block it. We're now into the blocky zone. Mashes out. That was just a good match. Alright, let's review pressure. So we go for air dash, puffball pressure, falling JB, solid, gapless. Well, the puffball and the falling JB is gapless. So we've got options from here. You can't go into pits because this is off of Oki, and we've already used both our jumps in our combo. So from this falling JB, you are much more limited than if you were doing falling JB off of, say, TK Puffball, where you had another jump. Your mix is much scarier in that position. It's still very good, obviously, in this position because Puffball is fairly ignorant. Eats most DPs. It's just difficult to interact with. It's multiple hitting, so it's hard to shield correctly, etc., etc. The list goes on. Anyway, so from this falling JB, you've got realistically 3 options. You can land 2A as your low option, or 5B. It's going to be more obvious when you 5B because land 5B is distinctly slower. It does low crush stand shield, which is nice. So there's distinct benefit there. But those are your low options. You don't really have an overhead option. You do. You can land 6C, which you as like a once in a blue moon option. It's not terrible. But generally it is terrible. The move sucks. It's very slow. It's extremely negative. It's punishable by just about everybody on block. Your F moons, and you have like no good cancels off of it, even on block. It's asking to die, especially as Vaki. You have no life. You really pushing 6C is a choice. So the safest option, even safer than just running 2A pressure into F moon normal pressure. And this is a safe option because people don't know, is that you falling J214A, so falling A pillars. There is enough gap to where if they are paying attention and have a high enough hitting 5A, that is fast enough to hit you. It'll still trade with pillar, but it'll hit you, you'll be airborne, and so therefore the trade will be in their favor. So why is this still good, and why is this still generally safe? Because if they are willing to mash after this falling JB, then you get to own them with normal pressure, right? So then it goes back into falling land normal being quite good if they choose to disrespect. So most people are too afraid to do that because, I mean, if they do disrespect you, they're just eating 5k back into the same situation in the corner. It's terrible. So you get to kind of just throw these pillars at them for free. Then what that does is it gives you further options. It's outrageously plus, dash up to A after falling J214A. It's gapless, or it can be. Or land 5B, same idea. You don't have to dash, but it is at the basically max range, so the confirms get a little tricky. But it also goes into pit pressure. You can TK B or C pit from that distance and go into pit pressure. Just go nuts, start wailing on them. And that's just basic breakdown of your option tree from here. So that is what we're building into this decision tree. Now I know Bungus is a H what do you call the damn thing? H bunker enjoyer. So EX bunker enjoyer. So running block string pressure on him as someone who punishes bunkers poorly is less desirable. Now, in this situation, I do that because I'm going to make him present it first and foremost. But that is why I say going into pits is the safest, because you just essentially fuck off halfway across the screen and are throwing projectiles at them and holding them in permanent blocks. And it's obviously PGs, but it's hard, so it's fine. Anyways, so here we land 2As. And I go for a stagger. And I forgot rule number 2 of running pressure on Bungus. He's not bunkering, he's mashing. So to this day, my staggers are shit. The gaps are too wide. I have labbed it out against 4-frame buttons, but clearly not enough. I still got running block string all the time, just because my gaps are too wide for people who are mashing for their life, and I die for it. And that sucks. So basically, this is something to lab further, is getting those gaps to be more consistent. And especially with the cancels between the different buttons. 2A, 5A, both very plus. 5A is 4, 2A is plus 3. But none of her other buttons, none of her other normals are plus. And most people think F moon, right? 2B or 5B would be plus. A lot of F moons not named Ryogi have plus on block B buttons. None of FVAs are actually plus. 2B is a meme. Its main purpose is it's a multi-hitting low that punishes stand shield and it has decent range. The confirms off its suck. It has terrible proration. It leads into the shittiest overhead in the game. So 2B is this kind of ultra niche. So that leaves 5B. 5B is obviously great. It's very disjointed. It is a standing low. That move rules. It is, however, not plus. So when building stagger pressure, building it off of 5B has the downside of it obviously being a negative button. It is only -1, but it is negative, so people who realize that can mash on you. That said, on counter hit, it links into itself, leads to outrageous damage, and again, it crushes standing shield because it is a standing low, and it will, or it crushes low shield. It needs to be blocked standing. Anyways, so we got mashed there because our stagger window was too wide, and we're into HWLen zone. Yeah, I don't think Bungus knows his combos consistently yet, so... Oh yeah. Another thing I've been doing lately, just against everybody, is... kind of came to the realization that I had been fighting opponents that do not exist. And what I mean by that is... I was playing the game under the assumption that my opponents were in the know. That they were ultra talented supercomputers that were going to make the right decisions most of the time and were aware of what my character's weaknesses were, punishes against my options are, etc. In the last while, I've come to the conclusion that that is simply not true. Most people are just people like myself who are just kind of flailing. They know their character, sorta, and they know that the other character is on the screen with them. And that's kind of the extent of it in a lot of situations. So, that brings in FVA 623C. That move sucks. Straight up, that move is bad. It is, however, a true quote-unquote reversal. Its first hit is invincible. However, the rest of it is not. Most people don't realize that. I know people are trying to flex, hit that multi-shield, hit them, or C-Moon players are trying to hit that multi-shield and punish that way. You don't even have to do that. So long as you EX shield the first one, you can just smash any normal, I think it's like 7, it's like a 7 frame gap, something ridiculous. And not even trade, you just get a straight counter hit off of it. But anyways, and also any extended moves, extended hitbox moves, the retraction back into yourself, since the reversal is multi-hitting, and the distance she has to cover horizontally, frequently leads to the reversal not working as intended. The first hit will hit and counter hit the meaty or whatever move that they are trying to hit you with when you're waking up into 63C. And then they will simply retract too far for the second hit to connect before they are able to block again. So then you stumble into them because you can't cancel out of it, into being as minus on block as you would have been had you whiffed. This happens a lot against Team A2C, Tony 2C. There's a variety of buttons this happens against. Basically, any button that's extended forward enough from the character, this will likely happen to. Anyways, so that brings us back to what we're looking at right now, and the reason behind all of this rambling. People still need to respect the fact that you do have a metered true one-hit reversal. HWLen does not have buttons generally wide enough to prevent you from hitting her with it. So that means if you are correct and your 63 connects, you will get the counter hit in the full combo that you want. That is the one benefit of the move, is that it goes into full combo. it didn't work here. He saw through my shenanigans, so we're getting counter hit. Backdash, 5B is ginormous. Ice trying to create some space. Let's see here. Was that a manual burst? Or was that auto burst? Yeah, it was auto burst. I just wasn't paying attention to the meter. So tag him with this. I'm like, oh hell yeah, we're gonna get a counter hit. Oh yeah, we got a counter hit. Single, like, if you get max range single hit, counter hit, falling pillar, feel like a god because you get to run up, confirm. You do 4 something K. Feel awesome. I'm a dipshit. I get my counter hit. I see the big flashing red, and I'm like, hell yeah, we're gonna charge in and eat a burst. So H auto burst giving knockdown like that feels terrible, but I've been told not to tech, so I didn't tech. And we go from there. So we're holding pressure. Command throws cheap. I was trying to bunker that, so I know. I don't think he meant the 63C there. Anyways, so back up a sec. So this ice, basically, so all of the HWLen have multi-hitting ice moves, or at least H and F. I have no idea what C does. And I know that you can bunker it. You have to bunker this ice slightly later in the active frames, because you don't, or at least for FVA, you don't have enough invul frames off of successful bunker to get through all of the active frames of the icicle, unless you delay it a little bit. I was just trying to do it on wake up here since I knew it was going to be active on wake up to beat the meaty ice, and I blew it, so we get hit. Okay, yeah, that was weird. I don't think he meant the 623C, so we just counter hit the whiffed DP in your face. Didn't get it confirmed because I was just confused that there was a whiff 623C in my face. Alright, trigger an air button, die to the DP. Yeah. Just got real scrambly there at the end. Unfortunate hitbox interaction there. I was trying to air dash underneath of him. Air bash, air dash back, except he also air dashed back, and we run into each other. And so, like, hitbox Tetris, or not even hitbox in this case, just collision box. Who lands on what side going from here? Like, this is what I'm seeing. It's like, and then, yeah, he's on the other side of me. And I don't turn around because, come on in. Anyways, pressure doesn't go well for him, but our IAD gets stuffed by an icicle. I dash up. Get the confirm off. 5k into the GGs. Yeah, alright. Got mashed again. So, like I said, Bungus is talented at fuzzy mash. And I'm bad at block string pressure. So, what happened here? Oh yeah, 2A whiffed. Okay, so I'm trying to frame trap into 5C. But the fact that the 2A whiffed and was not actually blocked means that I did not get my 3+ frames to make that a real frame trap. I was just pushing 5C in his face, so he just got to mash it for free, basically. Let's see. This wasn't broken. Oh, okay, so that was me mistiming. The air dash. So this route is your full screen route. It's if you do 623C or 623A, sorry, and you know that you're far enough away from the opposing wall that they're not going to hit it. So what you need to do is air dash, or what you need to do is TK TKC pit, TK9C pit specifically. One of the weirdest inputs in the game is forward TK pit C. It's an oddball one. Anyways, so you do that, and then you air dash as soon as you're actionable JC into buttons, the X puffball. So that's what this route is. However, the problem is that if you mess up the timing of the air dash and don't get it as soon as possible, I don't remember exact frames, and it is character specific based off hitbox. The JC will whiff, and that's what happens here. Because we are simply too late to get GAT for our troubles. Smoking a bunker. The TP was suspect. Oh yeah. Since it was early, I was looking to test how effective it was against ice, see if it could clear ice, see if he was close enough that I could get through it, see if that would work. It didn't. We learned. We move on. Yeah, okay, and that is something I wanted to look at this recording for specifically, is that I get GAT 800 gazillion times in this set. I assume it's just an awareness thing, because yeah, I didn't protect myself with a button there. But yeah, he just like, I know that HWLen has a decent air throw range, but like still, he was SJ9ing double jump, gatting my ass all day. Just not blocking there. Tried to force C the IAD. Yeah, bad positioning on my part there. Just didn't land on a button, wasn't blocking. Like, it landed right in front of it and wasn't blocking. I'll be an idiot. Yeah, good button on his part. Was trying to peg his landing. Grab his cheek. Apparently I didn't learn a lesson yet. That way. Managed to counter poke our way out. Okay. Our connection was a little wonky. So what happens here is it was 623A into pit, into TK pit. It eats the air dash input and gives me 6C because I'm trying to JC while holding forward after air dash. The internet, boys and girls. Footsies. He's trying to peg me out of the air with a I hate H burst because of my inability to look at the screen. Yeah. There we go. They're still invalid, but that's the route. It's the TK, so we reset to neutral. Unfortunate.
Round 2. Fight.
Yep. Finally got this route. Missed the air dash. Landed in front of him as he took a mash. Rain run. There we go. There's the bunker. Bunker HWLen's tanky. Most other characters have died there. I'm just trying to load up around, not being smart. We'll get punished for it though.
Round 3. Fight.
That was a terrible pillar. Alright. Based on our locations, I know that he has a jump. He's just SJ8. I have burned both my jumps, and IAD back. Look at where we are. He jumps, and I'm trying to pillar him. Terrible. However, I'm F-Moon, and therefore privileged, and land. His jumping button doesn't kill me. Which if it had been, I don't know. Let's actually back up. Let's see, what did he try to land on me with? Did he try and land on me with a button? He did. Tragic. Just not enough active frames. Or low enough active frames, I should say, to hit me. If it had been hitting around her foot, I would have died. Instead, he died. Drop it. Not the biggest We're doing mix. Dropping the combo. We should have died, but I dropped. Terrible. It's all going bad. Air on block. That OGG I thought would kill, but it did not. And then he didn't block well on the B button and died. We take those. Much better for Len, actually. Not that JC was flipped, but Len her blocks. Yeah, he never really learned to respect the bunker. Which worked out well for me. Yeah, I'm just shocked I didn't get puffball in time. That's it, but skill issue on my part. Pressure. HWLen Bungus. Awkward confirmed. Oh, just really tragic confirms. That should have been death, but instead we died because couldn't confirm it. Really good icicle on his part too. Pillars. Tech puffball is kind of brain rot, but we do it because it keeps working. That was an insane interaction. Dash out, recognizing that the ice was going to be after. Just, again, super awkward, but got real scrambly, and we take it. Alright. Kimono, please. Why does this air throw whiff? Anyways. Got a lot of mileage. The quick air dash back in this set. Another reason 2B sucks is because it pushes you out really far and makes it kind of... That JC whipping there was... Just really need to pay attention. When I'm doing a combo, I'm usually paying attention. Doing pressure, not as much as I should. especially from 3C. And GAT number 700. Yeah, so again, another benefit I have found about just letting 623 rip early and often is that people then learn to respect what. We're just gonna pause there. Little threat of DP there is. That's how I won that round, basically, is that it made Bungus look to block a DP. So I just got to mash him. That went pretty well. But then immediately we go to the next round, get GAT. So he's also really good about OSing his 5. Something he doesn't show most people. He does it more consistently. TK pressure. Oh, I just missed my falling JC. Alright. And again, for people who don't know about Baki, she has really asinine timing and height requirements for her buttons. So you just kind of look like a dipshit a lot when you fuck up. So off of falling or falling down, like as you're coming down from doing TK Puffball, you can adjust the height of TK Puffball. It's complicated. If people want to hear about that, let me know, and I can go over all the intricacies of timing in TK Puffball. But the thing to know is that from most heights off of TK Puffball, you cannot JC. This is also true for a lot of air dashes. From her lowest air dash height, she can JC, but the second she falls at all, like I do in this situation, I'm air dashing, and I'm looking to JC because that button crosses up. But the second she loses any height at all, right there, if I push JC, too late. Just land without having pushed a button, and everything goes to hell. Luckily, we get gifted this, and we get to steal his meter. Feels great. Okay, again. So this is entirely intentional. This whole interaction right here, not the getting hit part at the end. That's whatever. But so we combo. We're going into Oki. We see he's at 200 meter. This is where we thrive. So, for those who don't know, there is a bug with FVAs, automatically detonating pits. So that's why her infinite works. It's not because of a bug, but like the way those pits work is that they detonate automatically if there is someone either in hit or block stunned over them. So they detonate. The bug is that if a HWLen character, all HWLens, it's universal, is put into block stun, and then an automatic pit det happens on that character, such that they are forced to block it, then it pops the HWLen auto burst that is usually reserved for when they get hit in heat. The theory is that the way the pit automatic detonation on block is coded trips auto det or auto pop of HWLen burst in the same way that a hit does, because it's seeing, oh, hit, right? The pit detonates, right? It's coded as a hit, and then therefore, even though they're blocking it, the burst function still goes through. So we see them hit 200 in the end of this combo. And this is something, one of the big things you got to focus or pay attention for anyways, when you're playing HV or FVA against HWLens, is that if you're doing a combo and they're going to either get to 200 or get right next to 200, such that any amount of Oki, like 2 pillar hits, a puffball hit, whatever, will put them at 200, you need to do your Oki structuring such that you will then immediately get to do a pit that will pop with additional actions. So we see that they hit 200 here. We're going to do pillar into pit, and this will pop their burst, which is fantastic. We get to seal away 200 of their meter effectively for free. And we get to keep our turn, which is usually something that doesn't happen when people pop H burst. All these things are great. Basically, purely benefits for F Moon Vermilion Akaha against H Moon characters. So that's what we do here. So this is what I mean. You hit him with the pillar. You then SJ9 forward pit. Boom. No more meter for them. It's fantastic. So it's now my turn again because I still have a jump. Oh my god. Fuck off, ad block. Holy shit. I still have a jump. I still have an air dash. Or I still have 2 air dashes. So we get to jump in and effectively meaty their burst, whatever that would be. So as they're coming out of iframes, we can have an active hitbox on them. Which is so that's why we go for the high. Hit him with the JC. This is a high option. But yeah, you get true mix off of it. You can go high or low. Like if I had chosen to, say, do the same IAD with the JA and land and go 2A, that's a low. Or land 5B, same idea. It's also a low, it's just slower. Versus this air dash into JC, which is your high option. So you get to hold your turn. This plus several. And we go into pressure. The problem is we got pushed out of 2A range. One of the problems, again, this character is ridiculous, but one of the only problems that she does have is kind of stubby buttons. They're not very long. Their horizontal reach is not all that impressive. Obviously, they're great on block. They're very fast. They're all very strong buttons. That's not the point. The point is that horizontally, they are not the largest. So in this situation, with Len Hurtbox, a combination of having blocked the JC, we are too far out for this 2A to connect. They are literally in proxy guard because of how close they are and having come off block JC. And this still whiffs. Tragic, really. So then I'm like, oh shit, out of range. Push the longer range button. So I push 5C. And it trades with 2A? Question mark? Whatever you pushed. Yeah, I assume it's 2A. Anyway, so force back to neutral, even though we had an overwhelmingly positive on trade. We were air dashing to get the hell out of dodge. I expected to just dive into that, which God, Puffle. I love you. Sean! Probably shouldn't be chasing as hard as I am. I have been getting a lot better about dashing 2C as range. Unfortunately, this is Yoki. Gat number like 7,000. Alright, so we puffball with I jump and he is basically SJ9 Gat preemptively because he just knows I'm going to J8. He knows that I can't help myself. I want to be in the air because of how much better air pillar and air puffball is. He's seen me play. We've played enough times. He knows my habits. I'm going to J8. He becomes 9. grabs my ass. That is one thing I wanted to evaluate, whether or not it was something character specific or a player read. And he's clearly just a player read. Now, after having watched half this video back, he's clearly just reading my habits, and that's fine. I can clear that up. It's not an intrinsic weakness to playstyle to the character. It's my dumbass being too easily read, and that's good news because it's fixable. So just don't be holding 8 at all times is the solution to several of these cats. Yeah, Len hitbox weird. Yeah, okay. So benefits alright, there. Lol. So we tech to the top of the screen. Fine, all things considered, there's plenty of space. There's nothing HWLen, as far as I know, can do to even contest that space in an amount of time that would be truly threatening to me. So I think this tech here is absolutely fine. But what excuse me, what I want to talk about is the decision making behind then the follow up top of the screen air pillars that are uncharged. So we tech up immediately into 214A. I have a strong suspicion that these will hit. In this situation, the positioning, either way, hit or block, extremely beneficial to me, the one putting out the pillars. The problem is that we're at the top of the screen, not really able to take good advantage of the pillars. So special doesn't work. It's DK, so you can't falling pit if you hit them with the pillar. And I don't have a second jump, so I can't jump cancel, pit, go into infinite. I would have to be the most executional god of all time to do that anyways, and I am simply not. So let's assess this situation. This situation where I'm like extremely confident in these pillars hitting means we're going to have a bunch of plus frames, regardless of the fact that our position on the screen is not leveraged to take advantage of those plus frames. So what should I do here? That is the question for myself. Now I'm just going to ponder through it. Again, we know this is happening. So he jumps here, and that makes this confirm a little more awkward. We are locked into landing. That is one thing about pillars that people like to gloss over because they like to assume that move is completely and utterly broken. Now, it's obviously great. You're not going to hear anything otherwise from me. The move is quite good. It's not the most broken thing in the world. You can't cancel it into a normal. There are very few that you can. She's locked into landing after pillars. After air pillars, you're landing. So the fact that this tagged him jumping is actually pretty unfortunate for us, the FVA player. Had he been on the ground, more of the hits would have carried him horizontally into more hits. He would not have been able to tech higher into the air, making confirms or follow pressure simpler. So he did jump though, so that's going to present a tech situation about the exact same time that I'm landing. So now we have a full picture about this situation. We have hit him with pillars. He is in the air. However, we are locked out of everything until we land. which goes back to how do we take advantage of these plus frames? How plus are we? I will probably not end up. I'll probably not take the time to frame set this out to see exactly how plus I am, if I'm plus at all. I assume it's some amount, but so we get only 2 hits of the pillars. We still haven't even landed yet. Now we land. Oh, we got 3 hits. Cool. The 4th hit doesn't hit, I assume. And then he becomes able to attack. There is no chance that we're going to be able to combo off this, almost certainly. But if he does tech, we should be able to put him into block stun with Rising JA. So that presents air tick throw situations if we can basically catch any tech if we're paying attention with Rising JA into air tick throw. Would probably have been better than whatever ends up happening in this situation. Oh, we tried that. Wow. We tried exactly that. That's very funny. The Rising JA. What a video game. The Rising JA hit. Except that it didn't because it got rolled back. I was like, oh shit, we did it. I go to air throw him immediately. Okay, well, I spent all this time talking about this one niche interaction. It all gets fucked up by rollback. Alright, whatever. We're going neutral. Yeah, block. Both have the same idea about dashing at each other. Yeah, holding up seems very effective against this current version of but yes, this current version of Bungus HWLen, you can hold up pressure a lot. First hit. Again, that's the JC miss that goes to timing restrictions. Yeah. Now that I'm looking at it, it's pretty obvious and that's like you can iron out. Avengeful cat. I had it. I dropped it. Gotta take this. I went to see if it today, but dropped my movement is apparently entirely too predictable. Yeah, he really started throwing out H-Bunker as soon as he had meter. Which he was right, I think I don't know if I punished it properly once or... so I need to put some 6 pressure. Yeah, the 63 is weird. I guess it's a thing. Yeah, that combo here is weird on the got the Okay, I feel a little bad for Bungus here. Because he got by some nonsense. Alright, so fuck up the combo here. So I'm just like, alright, we fucked up the combo. We're going to puffball. And that's what we do. Jump. That's coming down. We meaty puffball. Meaty puffball is obviously excellent. Do whatever you want after this. You do need to be paying attention. I think I'm a little high here, but if you do get a knockdown, like if they get hit by meaty TK puffball or any TK puffball, puffball gives OTG state. And in the corner, if you have 100 meter, it is full combo. into mix. However, in this situation, we're not going to build a meter, so we're just going to re-jump. So we get this, we see the counter hit, we see the knockdown. Like, we have enough time, realistically, if we felt like it, to land, do like 150 more damage with normals into bad block string pressure. Or we can do what we did do, which is air dash, buy some time, and go for a second meaty puffball. So that is what we do. Second meaty puffball. The funny part is about the second meaty puffball. If you're not paying attention to the position, it's really hard to say because puffball is ambiguous on side. Is that he never got corner. He was very, 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 very close to the corner, but he never got to the corner. So, with the momentum off of this puffball, we're going to corner steal. He gets hit again because he's doing whatever the fuck on wake up, not blocking. He really doesn't like to walk on wake up, which, to be fair, I also don't. So, go air dash to buy another. The fact that I can do so many puffballs is ridiculous. But we whiff land because I realized that we had the corner, so we could cross up. We didn't see it, so we got cross up there. We mashed. That's what I meant. Okay. That's what I meant by if you bunker too early. So I bunker immediately. There are too many active frames. He gets hit by the bunker, thankfully. If he had blocked this, I would have died. The last one of, I don't know if it's the actual last, but one of the last active frames of the icicle still counter hits us. Now, he had been hit by the bunker, so we're still relatively safe here, but I think the math in frames works out that he's advantaged. So it's not ideal. He techs, we jump. It's straight. Yeah, did bad pressure, but we got hits off of it, so it's okay. And then he died. Sometimes you just zoom over people's heads and yeah, again, me disrespecting air buttons with trying to take a land with pillars. Like an idiot. Yeah, I pushed the button, I tried to dash over. Okay, reverse situation. Again, the air dash back. We are fucking playing melting blood. Holy shit. If I was nicer, I would have confirmed that into the infinite, but instead I dropped it. Went for the full stream round. Fucked it up, maybe they got cat. But, okay. Bunker the ice. Get H bunker back. Everything is back there. Yeah, stupid tape. HWLen. Crossed up, but maybe it's close. Yeah, I thought that 1-2B hit was good enough to confirm. It not, but he seppuku'd on JC, so we take it. Yeah, so again, that's another thing that I have stolen purposely I like, thankfully for me, I can honestly say that it is in fact purposefully. That after people respect your wake up options, you build in that delay. Sure, this is abundantly obvious to people who have played fighting games longer than I have, more competitively than I have, yada yada yada. Once you build in that delay, they want to check you with delay frames, like where they're not doing something, they're doing something off meaty, right? They're just seeing what you do, but they ran up. Wake up throw becomes a viable option. The reason I know this is because my dumbass has gotten thrown on other people's wake up enough times to know that, I see. People are expecting me to do something to account for their wake up options, and I did not account for not being outside of throw range. And that goes back to my topic earlier about it turns out we're just playing other humans. We're not playing people who know necessarily one way or another what should be happening or not. So that buys us wake up throws. Again, the air dash back really just kind of owned this entire set. That was supposed to be a TK puffball guarantee. Alright, so. Buttons. Okay, that. Super jump forward JA. Or J9 JA. That's a fucked up TK puffball. Fucked up TK puffballs takes many forms. This is one of the more prominent ones. You jump over them and pushing J. This is thankfully one of the less punishing ones. When you get grounded puffball, that's really where the issue lies. This is acceptable because you are just remaining in neutral. It's unfortunate, but it is acceptable. It's not the end of the world. Again. Yep. Air dash. Oh my god. Just playing it safe this time. Alright. So, playing it safe this time. I don't want to deal with 623C. I don't want to do 623. I don't want to do like a grab. I don't want to wake up command grab. I don't want to deal with shit. I know that the round is essentially mine so long as I use my brain. I have an insane life advantage. I'm getting to do fucked up Vakioki. Going for the safest default option is just, I think, pretty damn correct in this spot. And the safest default option in this spot is Charge Pillar. And for Charge Pillar to be meaty, you have to do it basically as soon as possible after EX Puffball and then JA Whiff, which buys back air options and other specials. Because again, special and special, nope, but special Whiff, special, apparently fine. Whatever. Video game coding and other things I don't know anything about. So we're going for Charge 214B option. This buys you the most plus frames. It's like plus 40. It's some absurd amount of plus frames. But mainly, it puts you a large distance away from any of their buttons, any of their options, realistically. And then immediately goes into pit pressure. So, you have to be kind of nice with pit pressure, even mid-screen pit pressure, which admittedly, executionally, kind of rough. But once you get used to it, it's not the worst thing in the world, and it's broken. So, and SJ 9 pit. So, problem with this scenario is that I'm playing to my knowledge that he's not gonna shield counter. Basically, I've played it enough times to know that he's not gonna shield counter. For a lot of characters against this exact setup where I super jump 9 forward to go into pits because it is easier, shield counter kind of blows it up a lot, especially if you have a particularly vertical shield counter, but a lot of them just blow it up. So like Hime, obviously Hime's shield counter is insane, right? So she does it, she counter hits you and you die because you just forward to do a pit, and she gets everything in the bag of chips off of her shield counter because whatever she does. Anyways, he doesn't. So we got pit 6. So the idea here, you see the pit is facing away from me. That is a manually directionally changed pit. And then you go into the next pit, see, because if you don't, they don't confirm into each other. But if you do, they do confirm into each other, which is obviously what you want. So I know JG mentioned in a video years ago at this point, probably, that when you're playing FVA, or when he's playing FVA, he doesn't do 22x6 or TK22x6 on all of his pits, because that shit is hard as hell. And I can confirm from my experience that shit is in fact hard as hell. You just need to be smart about which pits you do build the muscle memory for X6 into. Not all of us are going to be Ultra Toes where we can just do everything X6 because he's a fucking execution wizard. You just need to know where in your pressure in your use case that you're building your pressure off of, where an X6 pit is necessary to confirm into whatever the next pit or button is that you are doing. So like in this case, we do X6 into not X6, so it's normal pit. We air dash at them. We jump to bait options. We can continue pit pressure there. We can do whatever we want, right? The world is our oyster. We're allowed to do whatever. But we jump to bait options, which is smart. We fake high, go low, and catch whatever it was that he decided to do. So, a good sequence all around. Lots of nuance. This game is pretty good as it turns out. Yeah, unfortunate on some of this space. Something else. Tragedy. Okay, so we recognize the range, and we saw that he was most likely going to be going for meaty button OE 623C. This is the smart person's 623C, as opposed to, admittedly, most of mine, where they are not all that smart. It's just me just letting it rip, seeing what happens, seeing if they meated into it. But this one specifically, I can say, is a recognition of distance from my opponent's sprite to my wake-up sprite, which means that even if they had pushed a long-range normal, a more extended normal, I can 63C into it, and it would connect on all of the hits, regardless. So, at this point, I see that he's not sending an icicle. I see that he's on the ground running at me, which means that he could jump. And that's like one of the few things that really get me here is like jump and I whiff under him. He can shield. Same idea. Shield will eat this. But almost all of his other options lose to this, which feels pretty good. So we're just going to let it rip. And we realize that he's close enough for that to be a good choice. However, he's playing Len, and Len hitbox is cursed with pits, so something that happens frequently on this particular route is that you're holding forward, right? Because you're air dashing, pit, air dashing again. So as you're buffering forward in for the next dash, you get X6 on the pit. which for a large amount of the cast, not an issue. In fact, it's frequently beneficial because it'll adjust the height such that it's low enough that if you have the extra meter, you can route into J236C. Now, the damage on those routes are admittedly garbage. So the 623C starter proration is absolutely abysmal, and everything from there does absolutely complete shit damage. However, the knockdown off of EX Air Puffball is so good that if you have the extra meter and the positional advantage on screen, then it is frequently worth doing. Now, the routing is more difficult because you have to account for the height of your opponent, and the way that you account for that is with 22x6 or 22x no 6, so which direction the pit is facing. And the difference is there are 2 hits for each pit, and then the second one is higher up and launches higher up, whereas the first one is lower, as you see here, and does not launch hardly at all. All of this is well good, and what it boils down to essentially is that I did not correct for Len hitbox accordingly. You need to be very clean and get 22x, not 6, so that the second hit of the pit connects properly and launches her higher for your JC to connect. Now your JC still connects here, but it's not in the air. So the combo is over. As opposed to getting another 1,000, 1,500 more damage if you had done the full combo. Unfortunate, but it is what it is. And we're like, what, 6 games into the set? Multiple times I've had opportunity to adjust my 623C routing, and I never did. So that's just on me at this point. So we go for meaty puff. Not quite meaty. It's going to be a little late because the knockdown with the JC hit. I was thinking it was the 623C hit, but it was the JC hit. So the wake up was a little funky. This is not going to be meaty. So he just jumps out. It's fair. You recognize that, like, oh, that's nice. No, I'm just gonna grab his ass. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I need to do better pressure there. Oh yeah, I can't back yeah, fell with a button there because I figured he wasn't. Too far away from 2A to connect. From hit, pressure. That is it for this review. The main takeaways from this are not being so readily predictable, right? So he was able to SJ9 gap me, SJ9 J8, whatever it is. So lots of easy movement for him and his less mobile character to still grab me out of the air. So I need to make sure that I am being less predictable while moving through the sky, because Gold Air Throw gives full combo in this game. Need to be paying attention to that. That was the main takeaway. The second lesser takeaway, just because there aren't many H-Moon players, is punishing H-Moon Bunker. So EX Bunker, out of block stun, got me basically every time I did it. Need to figure out blocking it, OSing it, something. Because every single time an HWLen character has 50 meter, I don't want to be saying my turn's over. Because that sucks. I want to be able to press my advantage, even though they have 50 meter, because that's not that strong of a demand. Is 50 meters. It's really not that high. All right, and then what else are in my notes? Oh right, lens specific combo routing. Just gotta clean up my 63C routes mostly. Da, da. Yeah. All right. I think that's all I got for this one. So until the next one.